Taylor Swift goes to court over alleged album plagiarism.
Taylor Swift is facing a new lawsuit. It's over the singer's use of the title The Life of a Showgirl. That's the name of Swift's latest album. Maren Wade, a showgirl in Las Vegas, says she's used the title Confessions of a Showgirl as part of her live performances, writings, and content on digital media.
Welcome to PopPlug.
Let's get plugged in.
Because this story, it feels like something straight out of a plot twist Taylor Swift herself would write. One minute she's dominating charts, planning what fans believe could be the most anticipated celebrity wedding of the decade, and stepping into a brand new era. And the next, she's walking into a courtroom facing allegations that could shake the entire foundation of her latest album. And not just any allegations, but claims that her creative vision, something she spent nearly 2 decades building, might not be as original as fans believed. Taylor Swift had just entered a massive new era with The Life of a Showgirl, a release that immediately took over streaming platforms, moved millions of units in its first week, and dominated pop culture conversations. Every detail felt deliberate and deeply personal, exactly what fans have come to expect from Taylor Swift. Listeners were busy decoding lyrics, analyzing outfits, and connecting hidden meanings, fully immersed in the rollout. Everything was unfolding perfectly, right on track, until the narrative suddenly shifted in a completely unexpected direction. A lawsuit lands, and not quietly either. It's loud, it's public, and it's coming from someone you might never expect, a Las Vegas performer named Maren Wade, who claims that Taylor's entire showgirl concept crosses a line. According to her, this isn't just inspiration, it's infringement. And just like that, the internet goes into overdrive. What makes this even more surreal is the timing. Because while all of this is unfolding, Taylor isn't just in album mode. She's reportedly deep in personal planning, with whispers of a wedding swirling around her life. Think about that pressure for a second. On one side, one of the biggest professional challenges she's faced in years. On the other, one of the most personal, emotional milestones anyone can experience. It's a collision of worlds, and fans are watching every second of it.
In a new lawsuit, Maren Wade, who goes professionally by the name Maren Wade, says she trademarked Confessions of a Showgirl in 2015 after she started writing a column called the same thing for the Vegas newspaper, The Vegas Weekly.
So what exactly is happening here? The lawsuit claims that Taylor's album title, The Life of a Showgirl, is too similar to Wade's brand Confessions of a Showgirl, which she's been building since 2014. It started as a column, then evolved into a live show, a podcast, and a whole identity. And in 2015, Wade secured a trademark for it, meaning legally, she has rights to that phrase in certain spaces. Now here's where things get complicated. When Taylor's team tried to register her own trademark for The Life of a Showgirl, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office reportedly pushed back. Not because they ruled her guilty of anything, but because, on paper, the names were similar enough that consumers might get confused. And in trademark law, that possibility alone can be a big deal. But confusion isn't the same as copying, and that's exactly where Taylor's defense is expected to focus. Legal experts have already pointed out that just because a trademark application is refused doesn't automatically mean infringement has occurred. It's more like a warning sign than a final verdict. Still, Wade's team is pushing forward, arguing that Taylor's massive global presence could completely overshadow her smaller but established brand.
Wade had spent years cultivating, saying that Confessions of a Showgirl and The Life of a Showgirl share similarities and the same overall commercial impression.
This idea is called reverse confusion. It's when a bigger name becomes so dominant that people start assuming the smaller original creator is the one copying. And honestly, you can see why that argument might resonate. Taylor Swift isn't just a pop star, she's a global force. When she releases something, it doesn't just exist. It takes over. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Because if you dig into Wade's social media, you'll find something that makes this whole situation feel even more layered. She's a fan, a real one. There are posts of her using Taylor's songs, hashtags referencing the very album she's now challenging, even clips of her embracing the Showgirl era with Taylor's music playing in the background. And suddenly, the story isn't just legal, it's emotional. It's ironic. It's messy in a way that feels almost cinematic.
They're like, oh, I don't like Taylor Swift. Okay, girl, if you're not fun, just say that.
Fans, of course, have a lot to say. Some are fiercely defending Taylor, arguing that the phrase showgirl is far too generic to belong to any one person. Others are trying to see both sides, acknowledging that Wade did build her brand years before Taylor's album ever existed. But the overwhelming sentiment? Sympathy for Taylor. Because from their perspective, this doesn't feel like someone trying to steal an idea. It feels like someone who's constantly evolving, constantly creating, and now facing a legal battle right in the middle of a major life moment. And let's be real, Taylor has been through public scrutiny before. She's been accused, criticized, dissected in ways most artists could never handle. But this hits differently. This isn't about lyrics or feuds or headlines. This is about ownership, about identity, about whether something as intangible as a concept can truly belong to one person. And the stakes are real. There's a preliminary injunction hearing set for May 27th, which could determine whether Taylor can continue using the Showgirl branding while the case moves forward. That means this isn't some distant legal issue, it's immediate. It could impact her merchandise, her promotions, even the entire aesthetic of this era. Imagine building an entire album around a theme, only to be told you might have to pause or change it mid-rollout. That's not just inconvenient, it's disruptive on a massive scale. Taylor's legal team is expected to lean heavily into the timing of this lawsuit, and not in a subtle way. Their argument will likely be that Maren Wade didn't just hesitate, she allowed Taylor's entire showgirl era to unfold publicly, gain traction, and generate massive attention before taking legal action. From a legal standpoint, that delay can be powerful, because if Wade truly believed her brand was being damaged in real time, the expectation would be immediate action, especially when dealing with an artist as globally visible as Taylor Swift. The longer someone waits, the harder it becomes to convince a court that the harm is urgent and irreparable, which is exactly what you need to prove to win an early injunction.
Has a very strong argument because she's had a legal trademark that has been recognized by the U.S. Department of Patents, and it also has an incontestable status, which provides her an elevated protection in her trademark.
On top of that, Taylor's team is likely to dig deep into the actual strength and distinctiveness of Wade's trademark itself. Not all trademarks carry the same legal weight, and phrases built around common or descriptive words like showgirl can sometimes be considered weaker in terms of exclusive ownership. Her lawyers may argue that Confessions of a Showgirl and The Life of a Showgirl share a general theme, but not enough unique identity to confuse an average consumer. And then there's the financial angle. Taylor's team has already invested heavily in this era. Pulling back now wouldn't just affect her, it would ripple across an entire network of collaborators, designers, marketers, and fans who've already bought into the vision. But despite all the tension, legal experts are saying something interesting. Cases like this rarely go all the way to trial. Most of the time, they're settled behind closed doors. Agreements are made, compromises are reached, and the public never sees the final negotiations. Still, that doesn't mean the impact disappears, because even if this ends quietly, the narrative has already been set. Taylor Swift, in court, over alleged plagiarism. It's a headline that sticks.
Major criticism of this album is that she's plagiarizing other artists, including artists that she has collaborated with, including Post Malone.
And through all of this, fans can't help but think about the human side. What does this feel like for her? Behind the fame, behind the strategy, behind the carefully curated image, there's a person dealing with stress, uncertainty, and probably a lot of late-night conversations with her team. Add wedding planning into that mix, and it's almost overwhelming to imagine. One of the happiest times in someone's life, suddenly sharing space with one of the most challenging.
I just am doing the album thing now, which is a big thing.
Yes.
And then I think the wedding is what happens after that, in the scheme of the planning.
So what do you think? Is this a case of unfair competition, where a smaller creator is trying to protect what she built? Or is it an example of how success can make someone a target, even when there's no clear wrongdoing? Because in a world where ideas overlap, where language is shared, and where creativity constantly builds on what came before, where do we draw the line? For now, all eyes are on that May hearing. It's the next chapter in a story that feels far from over. And no matter which side you're on, one thing is clear. This moment is going to shape how this entire era is remembered. And if there's one thing we know about Taylor Swift, it's that she knows how to turn even the most chaotic situations into something unforgettable. Follow PopPlug to stay plugged in.